Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're just going to dive right in today because we are tackling something that I know from years of teaching can be incredibly frustrating for English learners. We're talking about figuring out when to use gerunds and when to use infinitives. I mean, have you ever stared at an email, completely frozen, wondering if you should type, "I stopped to drink" or "I stopped drinking"? Well, take a breath, you're in the right place. Today, I'm putting on my teacher hat to completely demystify this tricky little grammar puzzle for you. And I promise we're doing this with absolutely zero confusing jargon. We're going to use simple visual rules to make it all just click so you can master these verb patterns once and for all.
Here's a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll start with 1. Meet the tricky action words. Then 2. Past experience versus future intention. Next is 3. Adjectives, prepositions, and objects. After that, 4. When meaning changes completely. Then we'll cover 5. The top 5 learner mistakes. And finally, 6. A cheat sheet and our final challenge. Let's get started.
Section 1. Meet the tricky action words. Okay, so the absolutely crucial first step is understanding what these words actually are in plain English. A gerund is literally just an ing word that is acting as a noun. It simply names an activity, like sleeping or running. An infinitive is just the word to plus the base action word, to sleep or to run. And that's it. No complex jargon needed. The key thing to remember here is that in these forms, they aren't active verbs doing the action of the sentence anymore. They're actually functioning as things, concepts, or ideas.
Now, right off the bat, I want to address a huge point of confusion that I see in my classroom all the time. Why do learners so often mix up gerunds with present continuous verbs? Well, I call this the gerund illusion. Let's look at this side-by-side comparison. On the left, we have I enjoy sleeping. Here, sleeping is a gerund. It's a thing. It's the noun object that you enjoy. But look over on the right, I am sleeping. Here, sleeping is part of an active verb phrase telling us what you're actually doing right now. So the simple trick, if there's an action happening right in the moment, it's a present continuous verb. If it's simply the name of the activity you like or hate, it's a gerund acting as a noun. Makes sense, right?
Section 2. Past experience versus future intention.
All right, if you only remember one thing from today's explainer, make it these 2 golden rules. Rule number 1. Use gerunds when you're talking about an activity itself or an experience where you're looking back at the past. Verbs like enjoy, finish, or avoid inherently look back at an experience, so they naturally take an ing word. Now, rule number 2, use infinitives for future intentions and looking forward. Think of verbs like want, need, or promise. You want to do something in the future, so you use to plus the verb. To put it super simply, gerunds look back and infinitives look forward. Let's test this right now with a really quick, low-stakes quiz. I recommend eating at that restaurant, or I recommend to eat at that restaurant. Which one of those sounds correct to you? Think about our new rule. When you recommend something to a friend, are you looking forward to an intention, or are you looking back at a past experience you had? Exactly. Because recommending relies on looking back on a past experience, eating is the correct choice. I recommend eating at that restaurant. See, you're already getting it.
Section 3. Adjectives, prepositions, and objects.
Let's add rule number 3 to our toolkit. Whenever you're using an adjective, a descriptive word like necessary, easy, or hard, you almost always follow it with an infinitive. Just look at the examples here. It is necessary to speak English, or the test is easy to understand. So if you describe something with an adjective, just naturally attach that to infinitive right after it. It's a really handy pattern to memorize.
And this brings us to a brilliant side-by-side comparison of our next 2 patterns. On the left, notice how tiny prepositions, words like about, of, in, or for, act like absolute magnets for gerunds. She thought about traveling. He has a fear of flying. Always, always use the ing form after a preposition. Now look over at the right side. If you have a specific person acting as an object right after the verb, like me, them, or my friend, you follow them with an infinitive. My friend asked me to bring it. Remind them to check. When you're directing an action at someone specific, you need that infinitive.
Okay, time for a slightly tricky little challenge question about prepositions. Fill in the blank for me. I talked him out of blank that job. Should you use take, taking, or to take? Scan the sentence really quickly. Do you see that tiny word, of? Yep, that's a preposition. And what do we just say our rule is? Prepositions take gerunds. So the correct answer has to be taking. I talked him out of taking that job. Fantastic work if you spotted that tiny trigger word.
Section 4. When meaning changes completely. Now, let's walk through this simple table together because honestly, this is the most fascinating part of this entire explainer. This is where our past experience versus future intention rule really shines in the real world. It's crazy how just using an ing or a to can totally rewrite the reality of your sentence. Let's look at the verb stop. If you use a gerund, it terminates the past activity. I stopped drinking. That means you quit permanently. But the infinitive signals a future intention. I stopped to drink. This literally means you paused whatever you were doing in order to take a drink of water. Huge difference, right? Same thing for remember. I remember meeting him is a memory looking backward, but I'll remember to meet him is a future intention or obligation. And finally, regret. I regret telling you means feeling sorry about an action you did in the past, but I regret to tell you means you're about to give someone bad news right in this moment. See how incredibly powerful this is?
Section 5. Top 5 learner mistakes.
As a teacher, I hear a lot of the same questions and areas of confusion. So let's count down the top 5 mistakes learners make and fix them right now. Mistake number 1, saying, I look forward to hear. The phrase look forward to actually ends in a preposition, so it absolutely must trigger the gerund, I look forward to hearing. Mistake 2, mixing up I stopped smoking with I stopped to smoke. Remember our chart. One means you broke a habit, the other means you pause your whole day to go start the habit. Mistake 3, dropping the to. It's not I need to go, it's I need to go. Remember, it's a future intention. Mistake 4, saying we went for watching. Nope, instead, use the infinitive to show your intention. We went to watch. And number 5, forgetting that prepositions need gerunds. It is definitely not fear of to fly, it's fear of flying. See? These are all super common, but they're so easily fixed once you know the core rules.
Section 6, Cheat Sheet and Final Challenge.
I'd actually love for you to pause the explainer right now and grab a screenshot of this visual cheat sheet. It's a great printable style guide that summarizes our key usage rules side by side. Let's review from the top. Gerunds are for past experiences and activities, like I finished writing. Infinitives are for future intentions. I decided to study. Moving down, after adjectives, use infinitives. It is hard to say. And finally, after prepositions, use gerunds. I am interested in learning. Keep this clear structure in your mind and you will navigate these tricky verb choices beautifully.
All right, let's put that cheat sheet to the test with a quick practice section. Because Max had a bad cough, he stopped blank. Should it be smoking or to smoke? Think about the context here. The cough is bad. Is Max terminating a past activity or is he creating a future intention to go do it? Obviously, he's terminating the activity. So applying our rule about stopping an action, it has to be the gerund. He stopped smoking.
Let's run a final interactive quiz just to make absolutely sure we've beaten that gerund illusion from earlier. Which of these two sentences contains a gerund and not an active present continuous verb? A, I am walking to the store, or B, walking is good for your health. Take a second. If you chose B, you are absolutely spot on. In sentence A, am walking is an active action happening right now. But in sentence B, walking is acting as a noun subject, simply naming the activity itself. Brilliant work!
And finally, here is your final challenge to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. We know from our past experience rule that she tried teaching means she experimented with the activity of teaching just to see if it worked for her. But what does she tried to teach mean? Well, based on our future intention rule, it actually means she attempted the intention of teaching, but she likely failed. Maybe the internet broke or the students just wouldn't listen, but the attempt didn't happen. It's kind of amazing how one tiny little word choice can completely shift a narrative from an experiment to a total failure, right? The subtle power of English grammar is just truly fascinating. Thanks so much for learning with me today. Keep applying these rules, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.